this is the next one I'm going to be doing. And really it's finished, and I don't know whether you would call this a design element as such, but I actually wanted, I know, remember I was fiddling and fluffing around. I've decided that I do want to put a bail on it, but I'm going to put the bail with the threads going wideways, you know, widthwise out. I've never done this before, as usual, but I figure how hard can it be, right? So I'm sort of wanting to get, these are the braids from over here, so I just want to get them so that they start to come out here, so that when you put it on, so you can see it, it'll sort of sit a bit like that. Let's see if I can get it to go up at an angle a bit so you can see it maybe a bit better. So it'll sit like that angle. It's not going to be sitting straight up and down, but a bit angled. Anyway, we'll see how we go. I don't know whether you can actually. So the first thing I want to do is attach these braids at the back of my actual cabochon. Excuse me, I lose my voice. That because I want to make sure that it's not going to be floating around at the back too much while I'm trying to work, because I've got to bring this back around. Across to this side, and then I'm going to come out on the outside. Oops, where am I going to be coming out? To the outside of my braid. And now it's sitting in the right spot a little bit. And I'm just going to go back through this braid and into these. Sort of like when you're attaching your chuck loops and all that to your the main component. It's just to make sure that everything is nice and secure as much as you can. It's going through the gold. Going back down through the gold as well. Up through my green, between the braids at the moment. Okay, so that's where they sort of are. So now I have to decide how big do I want this bail to be. What I did was got my handy dandy, it's actually called a pricking tool. So, and I'm using the smooth part of it, and I figure for me, that's a pretty good size bail. It's not too big that you'd say, oh, that's really big, but it's big enough. Now we need to, I think, I'll probably need to start like a pre-curving of these to get them so that they'll sit in that position. Just not sure how I would go about doing that. Try and go the length. Or do I just leave it loose? I'm trying to think, how would I go about getting this? Unless I go from the back. through, pick up not all but some of the braid, just making sure that I don't go so that it's not seen at the top, to try and strengthen this whole area. As you're doing this, make sure you're looking at the front so that you don't go seeing it all. But work from the back, because otherwise you're going to end up with, and it's really is going to be baby steps all the way along. I want to give it a little bit of a curve, and I want it to be able to stay in that position. Yep, that's right. I want them to stay so that they're together and not sort of splitting open and everything else. So I'm just going to continue doing this, and when I've got what I figure is enough length to make a reasonable veil, I'll come back and I'll show you what we need to do, or if it worked. See you soon. I'm back. I've finished stitching all that. That's the front. You can't even see it. What I'm going to do now is actually attach it to the back like that. While I was doing this, I actually thought if you wanted to do the same effect, you could probably put the felt or backing of some kind on it and just do it like that. And what I also want to do is, instead of it just sitting like that, like flat sort of thing, I want to attach it. I'm not sure if you can see. Sort of attach it to the outside of the soutache here, and have it so it sort of sits over the pendant, the cab a bit, because the cab's actually quite proud. It sits out, but in a minute. So I've got to leave enough when I do this to make sure that it has enough that I can curve it around. So I've done that much. Now what I'm going to do is go stitching from one side to the other. I'm picking up where I can. Remembering this is going to be the veil, so it's going to have some wear and tear, but it will be covered as well, so whatever you're doing here won't actually be seen. I wish I could get my needle to go straight. Make it so much easier. Just going to attach it one thread to one thread at this time, so that at least it's a start. It's always an adventure, isn't it? It would be if my needle wouldn't. Okay, my needle actually went straight for a change, so that makes it a bit easier for me. So I'm going to stitch a couple more times here. Just to attach it all to each other. How many times do you have to get a needle through your finger or your thumb before you learn? Obviously not often enough in Soutache. I have never been so badly attacked by needles as I have with this technique, as I said before. angle around and get it to come in. There we go. Okay, so that's attached. So now I want to make my way up to here, to the outside of the Soutache braid up here. And I'm getting very short on iron on. Now I want to push that down if I can. Not sure whether I'm making myself very clear. And come up through the middle of the braid again on the loop and pull on top, and then sort of work my way across and down through the middle. I'm going to go through the front. Okay. To get that nice and tight on there. Through, only through the front of it, obviously, not through the whole loop, because I only want it to be at the front. And then do that a couple of times to make sure that this is all nice and tight and secure. Better than you know. Unbelievable. I'm going to go through the back this time, just for change is easier. Pull it down. I'm going to go up through. Oops, there we go. Up through there. And just keep doing that until it's all nice and secure, and attach the back here. Don't have it open like that, it'll have to be closed and all nice and tight there, but that'll be all nice and secure then, and that'll give a nice, I think it gives a nice look. Sort of sits a bit different. Too bad. That's how it will look when you're wearing it, and it'll sort of sit like that. It's not a huge piece. It's supposed to, as I said, it's supposed to be originally an earring, but I actually like that. It sort of balances out these over here too. But because all my braids are going the same way, it gives a nice effect at the front here as well. So I'll continue doing that. But basically that's another piece complete. I'll be back shortly with another exciting episode. Just wanted to show you the back of these pieces. This is one I've just done, so it's all there. What I want to do when I finish do the backing on this one, I'm actually thinking I don't want to cover these little loops. I'd like to just do the backing on the outside of this here. So when you're doing this, you know, finishing off gluing whatever you're doing at the back here, make sure you sort of have in the back of your head, okay, this is how I'm going to be putting my backing. Because if you go too far and you start gluing out here, when it comes time to put your backing on and it's all glued out the back, it's going to look pretty awful. Okay, so that one's finished, and the same with this one. I made sure that when I did finish up here, that I curved it around, and now this is a bit, it actually sits a bit flatter on the hand. It's not, I mean, it is still quite three-dimensional on all that, but on the whole, it's not lots and lots of lumps and bumps. The pearl is sort of now, this is the highest point here, because it's got lots of layers, and I've left this part where my beads at the front are open. I'm not really sure whether I will leave them open like that or whether I'll cut them in, but I'm leaning at this time towards leaving it open, so I made sure that I tucked my braids around them rather than going over the top, because once they go over the top it's very difficult to sort of go back. You've got to unpick and everything else. So anyway, just thought I'd show you the backs of those ones. I'm just going to have embellishments and these ones are finished.